What's up, guys? Brendan from Market Makers, 10:30 at night. Risk off warning for Bitcoin, my friends. What does that mean? A risk off warning is when portfolio managers, asset managers, hedge funds, big financial institutions, whales, big money, my friends, they look at and assess their exposure to highly volatile assets, and Bitcoin is nothing but a highly volatile asset. I give you that warning based on some different things. I'm going to show you the weekly candle close was very bearish. But additionally, this past week, the Fed is hinting at their next meeting, December 14th, 15th, 9 days from now, guys, they are going to potentially increase the taper. What will that do? That will injure the stock markets potentially, and the DXY will also potentially get much stronger. The dollar has an inverse relationship with Bitcoin on top of the actual price action. We're going to jump into this. I'll show you the number in Bitcoin you absolutely cannot lose, or you will test some new lows, guys. So I'm going to give you that number and give you the pattern that we are trading in right now. But real quick, welcome to the hundreds of new subs that joined when Bitcoin was crashing, and the 2,000 members we gained, followers we gained on Twitter in a 24-hour period. They all joined, guys, because nobody on YouTube or Twitter is tracking Bitcoin the way we are at the Wyckoff price cycle with Fibonacci patterns. And guys, if you like this stuff, check out our Discord link in the video description, my friends. There we do our trades. There's 6,000 people there. We do trade signals, TA, live streams. It's a fantastic community. I would love for you guys to come join and check it out and trade with us. Let's jump into this. Guys, the number that we cannot lose in Bitcoin, 47,772. If you see that number, look at this red line cutting through the Wyckoff boxes, or DARVAS boxes on the Wyckoff price cycle. And guys, for the new people on the channel, the Wyckoff price cycle, accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. Accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. We've completed 2 complete Wyckoff price cycles. We are in accumulation. If we lose this number, you can see every single pivot point, every Wyckoff up thrust, down thrust, spring, centered around this 47,772. Highlight it here in the pinky ellipses, okay? And we're resting on it right now. We had this very bearish weekly candle. We are resting on it, and the price action looks very precarious, very weak right now. So we have to be very attentive to this and pay attention. So let's look at this on the weekly Navarro pattern. Here's that neon green line, the 47,772. And again, guys, remember, there's a lot of danger here. We already formed a neckline from this drop. We have a neckline, so we have to be very careful how we trade. And if we fall down here and print candles and keep testing this 0.5 retracement line, you're printing a shoulder, okay? This is a weekly time frame, but you have your head and shoulders, and that's your measured move, the 10,781, confluent with the 10,871 of this bullish Navarro pattern. And again, this could take time to print. But what I wanted to show you on this pattern is where you could fall to. If you do lose that number, the 47.7 number, I think you're coming down to test the bottom of the pitchfork, which is right now, depending where you fell, about 38K. You will have support lines above this, but eventually you'll just roll down to this 38K number, okay? And we don't want to bounce around in this 38K zone and make a right shoulder. We have to have definitive positive price movement to move up out of that. The daily pattern, guys, nobody on Twitter or YouTube had this. The black swan dropped the market 40%. And again, you can see this here as well. We don't have any type of upthrust going on at all, but be very cognizant. This is a descending triangle because you have your base and you're tracking to this base perfectly, and you have a 0.5 retracement from the fib cutting down at an angle. Descending triangles have a bias to break to the downside 2/3 of the time, okay? And we do have our JP Morgan extension down here at 31K, which we have no interest in testing that. And I do believe you would find support at this heart line before you got there. And look where the heart line is, guys, 38K. 38K-ish, okay, right in this area. So there's a lot of confluence in the different time frames where you have key support level from a Fibonacci standpoint. You do have your 200 moving average, and hopefully that'll give us some support as well. And again, it is no coincidence you are consolidating right at the PRZ of the White Swan and the 47,772, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into the current time frame. What pattern are we trading in now? This is a volatility compression pattern. We traded in one earlier that broke to the bearish side because we lost price action and we went down. So where are we in this pattern? We have a recovery. This recovery was about 7.33%. This is volatility, guys. This is a separation of candles, okay? And I'll explain this in a second. So 7.33%, you want to keep seeing this reduced by like 40 to 50% in your waves, and then you down to 3.87%. Now you're at 2.57%. What does this mean? Well, if you picture it like this, if you picture it like a tightly wound spring, okay, or a slingshot that you're pulling back, you're creating equilibrium in the market. Let me show you this with the indicators. You're creating equilibrium in the market. You see your volume here? Your volume is going next to nothing. And you can see this with the dump that we had. Let me pull this down so you can see this. So here's our dump that we had, right? Here's a precursor to our dump. Look where our volatility was. Up here in these doji candles, you had some warning. You were above the 200 at that point. We were trading in what appeared to be a descending triangle, which I gave that video, by the way, days before this happened, okay? So our volatility came down to test our baseline down here, right in these candles, and then look at the volume. The volume dries up next to nothing. Your volatility is flat, and like a coiled snake, it strikes. The volatility explodes. Price dumped in this case. Volatility goes up on the ATR whether you dump or pump. Volatility explodes. Price dumps, and that's where we got to where we are. And guys, what are we doing now? Volatility is descending. We may come down to this next baseline once again, and volume is flat. When the volume is flat, just like before, the very next volume bar gives you a very strong push, okay? It's a very strong trajectory because you have equilibrium in the market. That next bar is critical in the direction it goes. So can we figure out what direction it's going to? Because right now we just have basically a consolidation pattern. We have to start to look to try to establish bias for price action. You came on a dissension. That's 1 point on the side of bearish price action, okay? Because you came off of a dissension. You're consolidating. Let's look at some of our indicators to see if we can look at some support and resistance. Let's throw on Ichi. I mean, this is very bad. So when you look at this, your 200 moving average is up above you, okay? Again, bearish indicator, you're below the 200, 6.5 months of trading range. You're below the 200 in the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 8 hour, everything but the daily and higher, okay? So you're very bearish on the 200 moving average. Your Ichi cloud, your Kumo cloud here, this is a visual representation of resistance and is laying on top of you. Your moving average is this cloud, and this is laying on top of price. The bias here is clearly that the price would break to the downside. Again, risk off warning on Bitcoin. The price looks like it's setting up to dump. This can change with price action, but you're in a volatility compression pattern with a ton of resistance above you. You lost the 200 in the 1 hour, 4 hour, and 8 hour time frames. The bias clearly appears to be to the downside, okay? So this is something you have to pay very close attention to, guys. We will be tracking this in our room with trade signals when the time comes, my friends. So guys, if you're interested in that, check out our links. They're all in the video description. Please smash the like button if you like this TA and subscribe to the channel. And again, welcome everybody. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. Another video update coming tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled on Bitcoin, my friends. Talk soon.